Stop letting people convince you that you need to starve yourself to lose weight. I had to quit low-calorie plans in order to lose 50 pounds. So instead of continually struggling with eating 12 or 1,500 calories a day, I had to eat 2,000 calories to lose weight. Even better, now that I'm at my goal, I eat upwards of 2,400 calories a day just to maintain a healthy weight. But after posting this video explaining why I was gaining weight while eating 1,500 calories a day and that I couldn't lose weight until I finally gave my body the nutrients it so desperately needed, I was met with comments like, "You just want to get views. No woman will lose weight on 2,000 calories, not even on 1,500 calories. Please be honest. And what makes you think this would work? You're delusional." Which I promptly deleted because it's really rude to leave a comment like that on someone's video that they worked really hard on. But also, I'm not really sure which is the delusional part. That I didn't lose the weight, because trust me, I did. Or is this man calling me delusional about how much I ate? Is he saying that I lie about how much I eat? Well, sir, the exact reason that I think this would work is because I've done it. That's exactly how I lost 50 pounds. And in fact, even now, while I'm working on losing my last 10 pounds, I'm still eating 2,000 calories a day. Like this week, when I averaged 2,047 calories a day and I lost 1.19 pounds. Or the next week, where I averaged 2,147 calories a day and lost 0.91 pounds that week. During this week, I averaged 2,052 calories a day and still lost 1.44 pounds for the week. So if either of these commenters did the tiniest bit of research, instead of attacking every woman who's sick of starving themselves just to lose weight, they would see that this is actually very possible. And it's the smarter way to do things, since once you reach your goal, you won't instantly regain all the weight. So let's hop off our walk for a minute and hop onto my computer. Okay, so let's hop on my computer to show you how I can eat 2,000 calories a day and lose weight. So I'm over on this macronutrient calculator, and let's put in my stats at the time when I first set out to lose 50 pounds. So I'm going to click female. I want to keep it in pounds. And at the time, I was 200 pounds. Okay, so I am 5'7", 5'7.5", so we'll go with 5'7". At the time, I was 42. Now, when I first got started, I was probably only doing a little bit of exercise because I had a lot of exhaustion from following these quick fix, low-calorie diets. But once I followed through with the plan that we're about to talk about, I raised my activity probably to at least a lot, if not a ton, because I was walking for a minimum of 60 minutes a day. Some days I would do longer. And that's when I finally started getting back in the gym, lifting weights. And at the time I was doing actually more than I do now, maybe like 4 to 5 hours a week. So I would definitely say I was at least a ton active, but we'll just go with a lot just to be conservative. And I wanted to lose fat. So lose fat. It's saying that my total daily and energy expenditure was 2727. So that's how much I would need to eat to maintain my 200 pounds, which I didn't want to do. I wanted to lose weight. So when you look at a moderate calorie deficit, 20%, I was still able to eat 2,182 calories, so almost 2,200 calories a day to lose weight at a slow and steady pace, which is the pace you want to lose the weight at, because that means that you are losing fat and not muscle. Plus, when you lose it slower, your metabolism stays higher. So it's just good all around. Okay, so I could eat close to 2,200 calories a day while losing weight at a moderate pace. Now, even let's go with where I'm at now, because I am working on losing my last 10 pounds. So right now I am closer to, let's say 154, 155. So we'll go with 155, a little bit older. And I would say I am definitely a ton active because I'm on my desk treadmill probably like 60 to 90 minutes a day. I actually just had to get a new one because I burned the old motor out. So I would say I'm definitely a ton active. I'm still in the gym, 4 or 5 days a week, and that's a mix of cardio and strength training. So I'm definitely doing 10 or more hours of exercise each week, and I still want to lose fat, so I'm in a cut. My total daily energy expenditure did go down a little bit, 2631, but I'm also close, what is that, 45 pounds lighter than when I first got started before. So I lost 45 pounds of weight, and I'm still right around the same calorie range to lose fat because I increased my activity level. So instead of eating closer to 2200, this is saying I can eat 2105 to lose fat at a slow and steady pace. That's probably what I do. Some weeks I average closer to 2000, some weeks I average closer to 2200. So that's actually the range I'm at. And I am losing 1 pound of fat most weeks. So this is pretty accurate. But let me show you what happens when you are not an active person, when you are sedentary or, not doing as much. So let's say we took that down to a little, which is where you're, maybe being active only a couple walks each week. Maybe you're at the gym doing 3 hours a week, whatever you do for exercise. And you go down to just a little active. Now all of a sudden, at my height and weight, I can only eat 1,440 calories to lose weight. So that's where that 1,500 calorie number is coming in at for someone who's my height, 5'7". Let's say that you're sedentary, that you pretty much have a desk job, and besides that, you don't really get up and do much activity. So maybe you're only clocking 2,000 or 3,000 steps a day like I was when I was feeling really sick. Well, look at that. That is where that 1,200 calorie number comes in at. So if you are very inactive, you're not really moving off the couch or away from your desk, then yeah, you do need to eat 1,200 calories if you want to drop weight at a moderate pace. But if you have an active lifestyle, you need to fuel your active lifestyle if you don't want to burn out your stress hormones. So as you can see, I calculated my calories and my protein based on my stats and activity level. I followed what my body actually needed to function, and so I actually had enough energy to lose fat. And that's what led me to losing weight at this higher calorie level. I went into this plan with 3 pillars that are really important if you also want to lose weight while eating more, which I promise is an amazing way to finally get rid of the fat for good. The first pillar is I maintained a higher activity level. So even though I was starting out around 200 pounds, at the time I wasn't that active and was only getting around 3,000 steps a day once I started monitoring with a watch. So I worked my way up to around 10,000 steps most days. Not all at once, but I started slowly and it added up over time. And as you can see by my Apple data, that's still a pace I maintain today. So while other diets insist that you have to drop calories really low in order to lose weight faster, if you're active like me, then it's actually better to keep calories higher while keeping your activity up. So the entire time I was losing 50 pounds, I used a move more, eat more approach. That way, that boosted my metabolism while I was dieting and kept it high once I hit my goal. And this makes fat loss way easier long term than the plans where you just jump straight into a really low calorie deficit that tears your metabolism down, leaving you not a lot of room once you finally hit your goal. Because then you'll be stuck at this low calorie level, which most people can't maintain for very long, which is what leads to most people regaining everything they lose. If I would have initially cut my calories to 1,200 calories a day or even 1,500, like a lot of these diets expect you to, that's one of the biggest mistakes most women make, because when you drop your calories that low, your metabolism is dropping right along with it. So sure, you might lose weight faster in those first few weeks, but you can't sustain that forever. And then you start regaining the weight because now your metabolism is lower. And once you eat enough to make you feel like a human, now you'll start regaining the weight. If I cut my calories to 1,200 right off the bat, while also pushing my activity higher, that would have depleted my stress hormones all over again, making me feel like crap, and my plan wouldn't have lasted very long. The second pillar is I focused on building more muscle with strength training and a high protein plan. Instead of going into another plan where I focused on getting the scale down as fast as I could, this time I focused more on adding protein while getting a little bit stronger in the gym each week. And when you do this the right way, this helps your body recomp, which means you are gaining muscle while also losing fat. So yes, at some point your scale will go down because it's faster for your body to let go of fat than it is to gain muscle, because gaining muscle is a really slow process, especially after 40. But it's definitely worth all of the effort you put in. At the same time, when you focus on building more muscle to build up your metabolism, it will take longer for the scale to go down. But I was perfectly okay with that because more muscle means a higher metabolism, which also means you get to eat more both while losing weight and once you reach your goal. So yes, there were some months where I only lost 2 or 3 pounds for the entire month. But that's not the devastating news that so many women think that it is. Because even though scale loss was slow, I was still shrinking in all of the right areas, still dropping clothing sizes every month, and my measurements were going down. Before I stop to talk about my third pillar, my phone actually overheated, because even though I can keep up with walking in the Arizona heat, my technology cannot. What the heck? My third pillar is having patience and just expecting that progress will be slow. There were so many months that I only lost 2 or 3 pounds total for the entire month, and I was completely okay with that. I knew my body composition was changing even though the scale wasn't moving much, and after decades of crash diets, I accepted that lasting progress would just take more time. And here's why this approach beats extreme restriction every single time. Eating more while losing weight gives me calories for my active lifestyle. As someone who prefers a move more, eat more approach, eating more calories gives me the energy to take 10,000 steps a day, to hit the gym 2 or 3 days each week to build muscle that is going to make my metabolism even stronger. There's also so many mental health benefits that come with eating more, because now you have the energy to actually move more while you're dieting, which getting out for walks is going to give you that mental boost you need to get through these times that are hormonally very challenging. Plus the fact that you just get to eat more, you don't have to starve yourself all the time, makes a huge difference mentally. Eating more keeps me sharp and stable, so I have energy to do more throughout the day instead of trying to rush to get everything done first thing in the morning when I have the mental clarity. But I can actually do things later in the afternoon instead of just scrolling my phone mindlessly or watching TV because I don't have energy or the mental clarity to do anything else. And one of the best benefits of this approach is it protects my metabolism, because when most people go into these crash diets where, let's say, they need to eat 2,500 calories to maintain their weight, and now all of a sudden they're only eating 1,200, their metabolism is going to drop way faster than someone who takes a slower approach to fat loss. My metabolism never really dropped too low because I didn't jump straight into those 1,200 or 1,500 calorie plans. I went down to 2,000 calories a day, which yes, leads to slower fat loss, but it helped my metabolism stay higher throughout the entire time I was dieting. I set my calories at a moderate level for my stats and my activity, and that helped me sustain that diet for way longer, which means I actually made it to my goal this time. Of course, I didn't go into my plan just flying blind. I had a tracking system I used and still use the entire time to make sure that my fat loss stayed on track. And this is the system I use to track the right metrics that actually matter for fat loss. Like how much I was eating, was I hitting my protein goals most days, was I staying active so I would track my steps, and of course I track my weekly weight average just to know how my progress is going. And I get it, tracking seems completely overwhelming at first, but once you get down what you need to track, it literally takes you 5 minutes a day, and it is so worth knowing your own stats and knowing that you're actually making progress instead of stepping on the scale once a week and getting disappointed with your results because maybe you're not in the calorie deficit that you thought you were. But when you're tracking the actual metrics, that way you know that you are staying true to your deficit even on weekends when you probably eat a little more. And this 5-minute daily tracking routine not only kept me on track the entire time I was losing 50 pounds, but it's still a system I use in maintenance because Anyone who's lost weight knows that it's so easy to slip back into those bad habits and slowly regain everything you lost. This consistency and tracking helped me get consistency with my results. And there is a reason that this works so well and why I haven't regained the weight 3 years later. And that's because I built a lifestyle over time. I finally built sustainable habits that I can actually stick to. I built this routine where I'm active and I eat food that gives me energy that I actually crave. And it's a lifestyle that I don't want to give up. Like when I go on vacation and I fall out of my routine, I can't wait to get back home because I just want to get back into my routine. So it's not something I do just to lose weight or just because it's healthy, but I built a lifestyle that I truly enjoy. And if being active isn't something you enjoy right now, just start the habit, do it a few minutes each day, and I promise you, once your body sees how beneficial it is, it will be something that you look forward to. While it's true that yes, eating enough protein does require discipline, and making sure I get enough movement also requires discipline, there is so much freedom in that discipline. Because for the first time in my life, I don't feel like I'm constantly on a diet. Sure, I have fat loss phases where I concentrate more on losing fat, but those maybe last 8 or 10 weeks. And then the rest of the year, I'm actually eating in a maintenance phase or eating more calories to try to build more muscle. Which means instead of constantly ordering off the low calorie menu, if I want to go out and have burgers and fries for a burger, not burgers. If I want to go out and have a burger and fries for dinner, I can do that, and I usually do. Not so much when I'm in a fat loss phase because that does require a little more restriction, but whenever I'm in maintenance, which is most of the year, I can order what I want a few times each week, not feel guilty, and not instantly regain all of the weight. And the only reason I can do that is because instead of constantly starving myself to try to be the smallest, skinniest version of myself, I built myself up, I built muscle, I built a stronger metabolism by eating more food, even while losing fat, and that gives me more food freedom on a daily basis. But that doesn't mean that once I make it to my goal that I just forget about everything I tracked and all the habits I formed. Because even while I'm in maintenance, I still track the basic things because it really only does take 5 minutes. And it's kept me on track for 3 years. That way, if I go through a period where I start slacking off, I can see it in the numbers and instantly catch myself before I regain another 20 or 30 pounds that leaves me starting from scratch. Because after decades of yo-yo diets, I have learned how easy it is to regain the weight whenever you stop paying attention. But I'm not obsessive about it. I don't go crazy. Tracking is just part of my lifestyle, and it fits so easily into it that I don't even really notice I'm doing it. And taking those few minutes a day to track keeps me on track long term. Now, if you're still skeptical, thinking that eating more goes against what every other coach teaches, that's because most of these weight loss coaches are teaching a one-size-fits-all plan. Most of these coaches are teaching to the masses, and they're not accounting for individual stats. Like someone who's 5'2" and sedentary has much different caloric needs than a 5'7" woman who's very active. So no, sir, I am not being dishonest. I'm showing you exactly what works for my stats and my activity level. Now, what is delusional is insisting that every woman on the planet needs to eat 1,200 calories to lose weight. So you need to quit listening to these keyboard warriors or these diet know-it-alls and calculate how much you need to eat based on your stats and your activity level. When you do this, that's when you get the results that feel easy instead of following these generic plans that always lead to just regaining everything you lose. Stop starving yourself and instead fuel your body based on the lifestyle that you actually live. If you're active like me, then you need to eat based on an active lifestyle, even in a fat loss phase. And then once you calculate your calories and protein based on your stats and your lifestyle, just be patient with the process and be okay with a slow and steady rate, because that shows that you are more likely to keep it off. As someone who took a really long time to lose 50 pounds, I promise you that even slow progress is progress, and it's the progress that will actually last. So let me know in the comments, have you ever tried actually eating more in order to lose weight? And if so, how is that working out for you? And if you want to learn more about my journey to eat more to lose 50 pounds and the video that sparked this video, you can watch this one next. Despite the skeptics, I promise you it is possible and such a better way to not only lose the weight, but actually keep it off.